First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. I said that in understanding the reality of what's happening to me. Um, Let me just start off by saying the reality before I go into the stupidityness and the falsifying of reality. I'm what you call a target individual. As a target individual, it means that the government, specifically the Department of Defense, is now utilizing you as a test subject. How they're utilizing you as a test subject is they're applying this weapon system that can attack your body and your mind. That's what's happening. Um, and so not only you're being targeted in this way, but they create a controlled environment of clowns. That's what you gotta call them. I don't know if there's any other word to describe them. They use, for me at least, and a lot of target individuals have mentioned, very childish-like individual, and they come in all shape or form. When I mean childish, they're not only children; they're actually grown people too. That just for the gaslighting method, for the gaslighting purpose, they will act accordingly. What I don't understand is like who would ever identify with whatever you try to present or project when you act this way. I have no respect for these people. I think they're even surprised that I can look at them for the clowns that they are. But the technology that we deal with, target individual, are super sophisticated. So our thoughts can be manipulated. But on top of that, they are using this voice to call technology. So you hear these childlike retards. And I use these words with the utmost disrespect because it's truly what they are. And they are supposed to agitate you into accepting this nastiness, this retardation. And you gotta remember, as childlike, as delusional, as whatever presented in front of you, as clown-like they are, they want you to identify with this persona they've put together in order to make you acceptive of these manipulations. Your brain is being altered. There is no doubt. You are no longer yourself. For me, even looking at kids like this, these babies, literally children that are babies, as young as these babies here, as young as this baby here, it's almost impossible to look at them without being manipulated to have some kind of sexual reaction. Your brain is completely manipulated. Now, these are the extreme, and you can notice that this is happening. It's beyond, like, there's nothing they can do to ever make me identify with something of that level, of that extreme. They do that to the little kids, the baby that you just saw, to the older kids. Now, of course, when it comes to the older kids, it's becoming less of manipulation. It's manipulation, but they look more like adults. So the manipulation is not as extreme versus when they do that toward the babies, the little ones like that. And so you got to understand that these people around you, as you being manipulated in these disgusting ways, that try to gaslight you into accepting this. And so they're like, no. And what happened is every time they make you experience this, they're like, no, what we're doing, we're mapping your brain. They use different lingo, different terminologies to try to break you down. And every time they make you experience that, they make you like, they act like they just caught you doing something. Oh my God, we just saw that. Oh, pain. Our kids, our toddlers, our babies. They are this theatrical. And they come in all shape and form. And I don't know where they thought that in life they can just, at least for me, I'm sorry, I know myself way too well. You will never make me identify with these manipulations. And I know who I am. On top of that, you're a piece of shit. Nasty low life. And target individuals, that's what they are. You are here forcing individuals to have sexual reaction to children, then act this fucking retarded. Target individual, the pedophilia type of torture, it's something they do to others. I put that in their faces every time. This is a tactic of breaking you down. This is a typical manipulations. This is what they do. They are literally forcing the brain of human beings to have reactions that are sexual toward children. And then they try to gaslight you. And they use this trash like, now we prove that. Let me just say, some of the perps, some of this participants are as childish as these people. Let me just say this. especially in this one here. As I'm trying to pull out they try to do things to frustrate me, but it doesn't really frustrate me because I know it's made for that. People like that, clowns like that. These are kids. Oh, what they almost I don't even know if they're actual kids, but they present themselves look like almost like they're kids. Try to make you acceptive of these manipulations, and they're like, "No, we have a proof. We proved it." Not too long ago, well, they've been doing that a lot. There's this like TikToker, because today what's happening? Obviously, they do that to the babies. They do that. If they do that to the babies, they do that to the older kids, right? And sometimes they do that to young adults, like a 20-year-old. Now, of course, if I'm not, it's not as annoying. It's not even annoying when they do that toward young adults. I mean, I've seen young adults in a sexual way. I've of course seen a 20-year-old in a sexual way, 22. There's some young adult that look, sexual, of course. But I know they are being manipulated, and this moment to have these reactions, because they want to paint this persona where you're into like young people, right? That you like some 20-year-old, which is not true. But they then pick something, and they use this clown sometimes to pick something to try to use as like, oh, we're gonna use that. That's a proof. And there's this TikToker in 2019, just some random TikTok, and I don't even have TikTok. I was on like a Snapchat, and at the time I was like in this like whole like celibacy stage of my life, which was a great stage. And so I would watch things that would not sexually drive me sexually. And TikTok at the time seemed very wholesome. They were just doing the dance. It was nothing too like, sexual. And there was this girl who I think she's in the 20s, early 20s, right? 22, 21. And they're like, oh, you thought she was pretty. That's why you was like, okay, good for her. She's a pretty girl dancing. Good for her. It's like, you see, that's proof. You thought she was pretty. Good. And then use that as like, oh, that's proof. Because today what's happening, they make me have this like forced stimulation toward whoever who looks young, from young adult to like teenage older kid, to of course the babies that you saw. It's like, now we proved. So they pick something like this, like, oh, you see, that's proof. And you hear these losers of human beings that work for governmental entities where pedophilia is such a rampant issue. You have people like that who like, now we proved it. And I remember when they were trying to gaslight me with this TikToker, and I was listening to this man called Roy Moore. I was listening to this man who allegedly was picking up kids as young as 14 years old. The reason why I bring Roy Moore so much in my videos is because the employee who put me in this program donated a lot of money to that man after the allegation that he was, as an assistant DA, a district attorney, he was banned from YMCA because he was picking up kids as young as 14 years old. And the nastiness he was accused of doing is just disturbing. Kids, like I said, as young as 14 years old. And there was a lot of that happening, or at least allegedly. This Perps, for some reason, when it comes to saying his name, Roy Moore, they have to say it in this very hidden way. I don't know if they are restricted. I don't know if they told them you can say that name, but you cannot say it openly. For some reason, which to me, I love it. This reality put in their faces. I'm listening to what this man did. This girl comes and she shakes her head because she's like, no, you see the TikToker, you saw, you thought she was pretty. She literally looked at me, she shook her head, and she was like, you clown ass retard. To try to gaslight me into accepting this thing. These people, they have no shame. And every time I put the reality of what they are, it's like, oh, you're going to bomb. It's like, in this program target video, what you going to understand is going to be a lot of, they destroy you financially too. There's women living in the streets because they lost everything. This shit, some of them have nothing to show for. Life for them is to destroy life of others. In these cowardly ways. This is the uniform they need. This is the what they need. The uniform they need. They're working for governmental entities, and they apply these tactics. The entities that contract this trash are so pedophilia centric, and it's obvious it's the Department of Defense running this program. The technology that we deal with, for example, my organs are being destroyed. It's just a matter of time where I'm going to completely crash. I understand that God gave me strength for that, but thank you, God, for giving me what I need to see. Do you understand these people work for governmental entities with this issue? This issue. This issue.
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flicker, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the Personal Electronic Device PED policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security suites. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this
study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is
the thousands who are completely innocent to further allow that much more government intrusion into their digital devices or the things that they're dealing with on their computers.
Well, remember that what's being talked about here is not an intrusion into someone's personal device or even their home. This is about saying Department of Defense computers are being misused to share, to spread, to access child pornography. And when you step...
The entities doing this thing to us, tormenting us, breaking us down, and contracting this loose of human beings, or running this program, are the entities that you heard with these issues. This is amazing, because you have these clowns try to make you believe that you are the pedophile and they're the one protecting children. First of all, I know what this program is about. They do these things to other target individuals. They try to paint and project this false reality, this defamative tactics toward the target individual. Matter of fact, let me just say this. These perps right now tell me how they're going to frame me using children. They're going to say, matter of fact, they say that they have the key to my doors, to my door here. And so when I'm sleeping or when I'm with somebody else, a perp, they will switch places. And they have a child lay next to me and take a picture of that and make it look like I was with this child. Now, I don't doubt that they can do these things. But those are the people in your brain supposed to make you accepting of these things. I'd rather die in hell than live like them. They do this nasty, disgusting pedophilia type of tormenting. That is so disturbing. And I'm so thankful to God that I didn't have to grow up the way this trash have to. Because imagine you live life where you're told, go lay next to this adult, we're going to make it look like you had sex with this kid. Or you had the sex with this adult, you as a kid. And they are hyping these retards of children that you saw. It's like, oh, thank you girls for that. And what they have for validations is so disturbing. As I'm being forced to get this manipulation, as this target individual says here. I'm trying to see if I can pull that up right now. If I can see this here, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it. But you've seen it before, multiple times. Let me see if that's it.
I also experienced what is referred to as malo. Anything electronic.
Hold on.
They have even locked me out of my office building.
This is just the torture of this woman. But
it is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind. But he thought of it. Like, this disgusting.
they do this pedophilia type of torture because this is the way they break the target individual down. I'm supposed to be identifying with this. And so today what's happening is just they rewind the brain and looking for how they can paint this persona. For example, now they make me think of this like college student that just moved in this apartment that I just lived in, and when she was moving in, she was wearing like this like crop t-shirt, but half of her like her chest could be seen. And I remember she was coming down, and I'm like, of course I started looking at her in a sexual way. It's like, you see, how dare you see proof. The goal is to try to make you be this person that you're not. Right now, what they try to do is like, yo, you're into like young girls. Like, this is the persona they created. Now, of course, I seen a 20-some-year-old and think, of course, like everybody else. It's like saying a woman, hey, have you seen a 20-year-old man looking? Now, what's happening today is just I'm being forced to get these manipulations. And every time they try to make me accepting of this, it's like, no, we proved that. They use this voice to call. And what I'm mimicking here is how they talk to me via voice to call. Voice to call is how they can pipe in voices in your brain. What's happening is this. They are rewiring my thought process in my brain. But they are able to pipe in their voices into my brain because these governmental entities have this program, has this technology that has the ability to do that. And so what they can do is interact with me in this remote way and hitting my brain directly. And so every time they try to like convince me, it's like, now there is something, we're just investigating you.
Yeah, technologies that can pipe voices into an individual's head. Mm-hmm. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains.
It gets when they pipe in the voices, the childlike individuals are participating in this. They're so childish, like, no, we're reminding you. It's so bad. This is so cringy and childish. But my fear is, and it's not a threat, but these children are truly involved in a program that is still diabolic, that it does this horror to even children. Now, for me, of course, I'm never going to subscribe. You just rewind my brain, and they try to find ways to make you accepting of this. And they use child trash. Though actually, I was saying that they're going to be used to frame. But these child trash are involved in something that's diabolical to the point of torturing children. Now, for me, I understand they try to agitate me. But the magical aspect of it all is that you heard who's the pedophiles. Who's in control of these retards. As for me, for example, the TikToker, I love putting that in their faces because it's just making them having to be more and more mentally retarded. I want to push their retardation to the nth degree, and I want to put that in their faces. Because the reality is, the entities that who contract them, who is in charge of this, have so much of a problem with pedophilia that a bill that you heard called End National Defense Network Abuse Act was created to limit them from downloading child porn. But on top of that, there's like BuzzFeed article of how like so many CIA agents were having these pedophilia issues, where they were catching them trying to go interact with children, have sex with children. One example is they call this CIA agent, a special agent in the FBI, was pretending to be a child in a chat room. The CIA agent believed that person was a child. That CIA agent drove interstate to go have sex with who he believed was a child. Fortunately, it was just a special agent pretending to be a child. So that man was going to go there planning to have sex with a child, thinking that was a child. Now, this is how you catch pedophiles, right? This is the reality. That's how you catch those predators. This trash are trying to make me a predator, try to make me a pedophile, then make themselves act like, oh, we're avenging, we're protecting children. Looking for however stupidity they can put these things together, because today my brain is being rewired to have these disgusting reactions. They contract childlike retards that every time I put things in perspective, they try to deflect. Oh, you're going to be bombing. They make so many women being bombed, being homeless, leaving their car. They torture their family. I'd rather be dying like this woman, Kina Jones, than having to live life like this trash, working for entities filled with pedophiles. They're not even allowed to say the name of a man who actually was picking up kids. Actually, is what they try to project onto me. It's magical. And they try to be like super like they think if they say something, it's gonna block reality. Oh, we're projecting. Oh, I'm like, yes, you're projecting. You know why I'm saying that? You're projecting because you are actually working for governmental entities where pedophilia is such a problem. A whole bill was created to try to stop people from downloading child porn using the government computers. I know this technology, this weapon system is coming from the same entity. Do you think it's just retards living next door investigating? Matter of fact, when they're investigating, looking for children, for people who go for children, who are into children, they catch a lot of CIA and other kind of governmental entity. These trash are in the business of falsifying reality. What now they're holding on to, which they've been trying to do the same thing, which I put that in their face, and with my brain it's getting worse and worse. It becomes weird, like, oh, but you thought she was pretty, so you saw the TikTok dance. Like, okay, good for her. It's like, you see, you wanted her. It's like, you're stupid. And they give me stimulation I didn't experience now. They're falsifying the memory, which is okay. That's what they do. My memories are always falsified in some level to create some exaggerated feeling. With her, they just exaggerate the feeling. But it's like, okay, this pretty girl who's a 20-some-year-old TikToking, good for her. See, now you see? You thought she's pretty. Stupidity. It's like, no, it's not real. And the reason why they picked this specific one is because these perps want to create a narrative that's falsified. If the narrative can be falsified in that fashion, and I cannot go and get the facts, they use that. That's why they picked this random person. She was nothing to me. The reason why I'm thinking about her now is because they try to use her specifically, because I will never find her. Because I know she's probably in her 20s. Or when I saw her, she was like early 20s. But how can I find out now? That's why they're picking her. They have no shame. They have no shame. They work for pedophiles. They are doing things to children, torturing children. They are renowned to do the pedophilia type of torture. And they're supposed to make you accepting of these things. Let me show you like the type of like this. If I saw somebody like that, they will start stimulating me, making me think that's your child. This is the type of like, that was the TikTok age, or around that age. Like early 20s or so. Of course, I'm not interested in that. But they want to paint music, but your roommate, you asked her about her 21-year-old sister, and if she was taller, but you see, that's to try to create these stories. Because today what's happening to me, when I see children, I'm forced to get sexual stimulation. And this trash, I'm embarrassed that I put the reality that you guys are actually the pedophiles. The rage that you have is the rage that I know that you torture babies, you torture women, and you work for top-tier pedos. And you're embarrassed, but you can't even say the name of this man that pick up kids. Now you are out here framing people. Tell me that you're going to have a child lay next to me when I'm passed out. These trash deserve death, and they will get theirs. Target me just as strong.